Hey plastic model builders, welcome back. What you're looking at here is the rest of the masking that we did for the Revell A-7A Corsair 2. We're getting ready to spray our gloss gull gray coat right here. The instructions call for a flat color. We're using gloss because when you apply decals, you always want to apply gloss coat. So they adhere better to it and they don't silver over. So this is what we're doing. We're going over the whole entire body of the plane on the top surface. You see all that masking that I have there with the airbrush. Since it's all this one color, we can kind of go a little bit faster with it. So we're getting our tail fins here, as you can see. By the way, if you haven't seen that previous video that we did all the masking for, where we sprayed the white coat, go back and watch that. Just click the link over here. You know what to do. Same thing, different day. So here we are, just spraying this model, going over it with our gloss gull gray color. After we get the decals on, we will of course put a flat coat on there. And here we are. We're just doing this. This is another coat. Going over this very carefully. We want to make it look pretty, as we always do. You can see that little hole there. We're going to stick our fuel tube extension. Getting the undercoat of this, because the way this model was, you have to twist it up and down in all sorts of different positions just to make sure you can get under the wings and things like that. So here I mentioned the refueling tube. There it is. We're going to paint that. I have the tip of that masked off just a little bit. It also goes the same gray color because it will be put into this plane, and we will spray a flat coat on that after the fact as well. So here it is. I'm going to put on one more coat of this gloss gull gray color. Getting the wings, we're going to go over the rest of this, make it look pretty, of course. So this is what it's going to look like and all that good stuff once it's done. Here we go, just getting the remaining bits of this. I only did 2 coats of this, and I'm happy with how it all turned out. Getting the wing here, and you can see that coat going on there just rather quickly because I had to pressure up fairly high, opened up the nozzles, and just, this is it. So we are now getting ready to remove the masking. This is on the stabilizers and ailerons, whatever you want to call those. Those are gloss white. Be careful. You might get a little bit of paint chipping. If you do, just go over it again. You see I got some there. Maybe could have let it cure a little bit. I was asked earlier if I do get chipping, and I do. No, nothing's perfect. It's modeling. You know, I mean, it all comes along with the territory. Getting the left wing over here. We're going to do the same thing. Peel off all this masking tape. Get it good. As soon as we get all this tape peeled off, believe it or not, we're going to remask the front of the nose because we have to spray some black on there. So here are the wings. Did those all in one piece. You saw that on the previous video, so watch that again if you didn't see how I masked it off. Going to get our stabilizer fins right here. Get the other stabilizer fin, that's the left one, of course, looking at it in reverse. Here is the left wing. Peel that off carefully. Plane really looks good from what I could see. You can see that nice gloss color there. Maybe could have come out a little bit more glossy, but this is what it is. It's not a big deal. So getting the last remnants of tape and masking off on the bottom side. I'm going to peel all that off. The only thing I leave on is that canopy masking. As I said earlier, we're going to spray the whole tip of this nose gloss black. So get that masking off. We will mask off the front, and you can see it already masked off for us to paint black. We're going to have our black color, and we are just going to go over the tip of this. If you remember earlier, I had painted it black once, but I just changed how I wanted to do that because, you know, that's modeling. Sometimes we don't do it the right way the first time because it's a hobby. We're not all perfect. So this is me doing it the way I should have done it the second time. And it looks fairly decent doing it this way. Just going over this, going to put 2 coats on this as well. I always like doing 2 coats, you know, because the base coat, got to let that dry and then you do more of it. So here we go. Getting all of this. Once this is done, we will peel the rest of this back. And we are done. So here we go. Remove the masking and we will see how pretty this looked. Now I do leave the masking still on the canopy because we're going to spray a flat coat on after the fact once all the decals are on. So there's no sense in masking stuff off 3 zillion different times to do stuff. So look at that. I had a little bit of bleed through. I can't remember if I touched it up or not, but we'll find out later on. Here are the edges that we're painting red. I believe I got this in reverse the way we're looking at this, so I wound up scraping off that top edge of some of these. So we'll show that in the next video, not actually in this video. I'm just showing you everything that I did in this model, even if it was right or wrong. So that's just how things go sometimes. We don't always make the best decisions, and you know I'm far from perfect when it comes to modeling. So here we go, painting all the edges. These are the small little rear door gear doors that we have here. Get a little tongue twister there, huh? It happens from time to time. So just carefully paint around these, get all the edges. If you want to even put masking on the underside of those, you can do that too to prevent any like paint from leaking under there. But remember, it's not perfect. We might still leak some paint. Just go back and touch it up. Until I read about finding a different way to do it, this is how I'm going to do it. So we're going to get the edge, make it look pretty, of course. And there it is. You see it looks quite nicely, using a really bright red color here. I don't remember exactly if it was an insignia red or just a regular red. But this is it, going along the edge of this door right here. And if you look at the instructions, they're kind of vague, so you just kind of have to look at it and figure out. And like I said, I don't remember if this was the right way or not. So if it's the wrong way, we're going to find out in the next video. So you're going to have to check back in 2 weeks for that. I did leave the edges because we all know the edges are only one edge. So here they go, just getting the other edge. There was a total of 6 front gear doors, or I'm sorry, 6 rear gear doors that we had to do, and 2 on the front. Getting this edge right here, and getting the side, of course, just very carefully going over this. Got a little bit of red on my fingernail. What are we going to do with myself? I just have to wash it off. This is enamel paint, in case you were wondering. I like to use enamels when I'm brushing. They just go on really nice when we do this. So continue to get the rest of this door here. I don't have too many doors left, so that's a good thing. Putting these doors on were tricky. We'll show you that also in 2 weeks on the next video. But since we're on this video, you get to see everything that we're doing for this. Shouldn't have too many doors left to mask off. We're just about done with them. Just going over here. This is the front gear door, and you can tell by those little pegs down there, the box pins that you have, or I should say just pins. They are not even really pins because they just kind of rest on a little ledge that's on the plane, and you'll see me scraping away those ledges later on. Not in this, but later on. So you just got to pay attention to that. This is just kind of priming them, getting them ready. That way we have more steps to do after we apply the decals. Going over the final edge here, this is one of the other landing gear doors. That's the other side of the front. You can see he's got little wiring and stuff, or whatever that is. I don't know. The model had a lot of interesting things to it, which I'm sure still stick accurately to the format of the whole plane. Getting the sides right here. Once we're done with these sides, who knows what we'll do? Let's find out. So stick around in about a couple more seconds. Getting the side here, as you can see, very carefully. This top part, not the side. My error yet again. This is the side. So, finished painting this side red. I know you've dealt with this before. I tend to babble. That's alright. Here we go, starting the decals. We are going to start with the tail fin. So just put it in the water, let it soak, put a little bit of a setting solution on there, and put the 00 in place there. I'm working on one side of this aircraft, then the other. So here we have, this is the wrong way to do this. I put this decal in the solution there in the water, and then I just brush it on. The best way is to go around the outline of that decal, getting all the clear off of there that you can't see. But it is on there, so you know it causes the decal to lay a little differently. So if you get all that off ahead of time, it won't be a problem. So now I've got a little bit of the tail done. This is going to be the striping that goes on the rudder of that tail. Same process. I'm showing you all of this, so you're going to see me dipping in water a lot and putting it on the paper towel. Why? Because it's all part of the process. Maybe I shouldn't show that anymore. If you don't want to see that, just let me know, and I won't put those in any more videos, and we can maybe make them a little bit shorter. We'll see. So just carefully do this. I know you're not supposed to use fingernails on decals, but I do it all the time. It's a model. It's not like they last long anyway. Theoretically, you know, models should last you 3 years, people touching them. But like I said, nobody really cares to touch my models. My wife doesn't give a crap. She just looks at like whatever keeps you happy. And I'm sure everybody else's wives are the same way. The only people who might care are model builders. And I'm not going to any model clubs either. So this is what we get. Got our little NL that we're going to put on here. Make sure you do the proper side because they are a little bit different on each side. Again, dip it in the water. These decals, they slid off fairly easy. It did take a little bit of time for that water to soak in there though, since I believe this is a really old model. So here we go. We are getting this stripe right here, which goes from the tail to the base. The top, not the whole top, but just the edge of the tail to the base of the fuselage. Be careful when you're putting these in. They were really hard to line up. I managed to get them the best I could. They have to kind of meet in the middle as well. So, just pay attention. You see me here to get that clear piece off so it sits properly. I did this one correctly. So it can sit exactly flush with the base of the fuselage. Here we are just lining that up. So we are now halfway through this video. I congratulate you. You've made it, as with a bunch of my other videos. And this right here is the little bit of its black piece. And this will go along, before we put that black piece in, I'm sorry, just a couple more things to put here on the tail. This is, of course, the VF22. I'm going to put that on the edge, and there we go. So that looks perfect. What we're cutting out now is this small black piece. I don't know what it does. It goes on the side of the tail, right on the fuselage. So we're going to cut that out. Dip that in some water here. Make that look pretty too. We may as well, right? Because we like to make everything look pretty. So here we are. We're just going to slide that on. You saw it was on that paper towel, I believe. Push it up a little bit. Make sure it's aligned good and just fits in there. So I let some of these dry. We're going to put on some of our micro solid setting solution. That way, it shrinks up and it goes to all the contours. Takes a little bit of time to do all this. Just slowly brush it on. Once it's on there, kind of let it sit. And you know how it goes if you used it before. It works really, really well when it comes to making things adhere to the body of the plane. And basically any model for that matter. So that's what it looks like. It looks pretty good. I was happy with how the tail came out. So now we're going to work our way a little bit onto the side right here on the wing. Put our little 300 number. Goes one right there. We've got our little U.S. Air Force insignia star. Going to put that on the wing. Where else would we put it? Maybe not on the wing. Maybe we'll just put it on the side of the plane. Where do you think it's going to go? Take a guess. It's going on the wing right there. So we do have some that we also put onto the actual plane on the fuselage as well. This one just happens to go on the wing. It was a good little guessing game. Figure out where I would put it next. So here we go, getting the little horsey, whatever that thing is, cut out again. Because as you saw, we put one on the tail. This one's going to go right here on the side of the aircraft. Make sure your positioning is right. Put that little guy on there, just adjust him a little bit. And now we are putting on some little things, like little latches and their arrows that are so common on many model planes. Not really model planes, but real planes. That's why we're putting them on the model, because it's on the real plane. So it's just a little latch lever there. It says, hey, lift this in case of emergency. Now we've got this decal, where are we going to put this one? On a wing or on the body? Well, we've put one on the wing, so I guess that kind of narrows it down now, doesn't it? So put that on, and you see that going right there. It kind of goes in between the white and the light and the flat gull gray. So you see me have that there. I don't remember if that's proper positioning. It probably is, since I'm working on another decal already. Put these in the water. These are your little other danger symbols that they have. They go right there at the base there by the what you call them there, the canopies. Of course, got those canopies already on, so it makes it easier to line it up. I've got a couple decals already set aside here. Put that first one on, and now we are cutting out this front one. That one was a little tricky to put on. We managed to get it on. It's kind of big. I might advise cutting out some of the middle of that, but if you do, the paint kind of has to match the decal because it's got white in the middle of it. So maybe they could have done that a little bit better, but they didn't. You see where that goes. It laid down a little funny. It is what it is for my model. Make your model better, because as I say, do as I say, not as I do. So we're going to put our little Navy symbol here on the back. And the good thing is we're just about done doing everything on this left side of the plane, and we can move on to the other side. I believe I did let those decals dry for quite some time as well. So we got those on, putting on the rest of our micro saw to let all these contours fill in. Got about 6 minutes left in this video, so thank you for sticking by and watching as much as you have, it is greatly appreciated. So brush on the rest of this micro saw, which means we are done this side of the plane. There you go. Make it look pretty. So let's go over to the right side. Flip everything over. Repeat the same exact process in basically the same exact order, except you're on the right side of the plane. So put on our double zeros. Of course, you see here, now I'm doing this the correct way. I'm slowly going along the outline of that blue. That way when I stick this on the top of the tail, it sits a lot better and there's no clear overlap and it rests just fine on the plane. This is the best way to do it that I found, and I know other modelers, that's really the right way to do it. But there's always good to show you a right and a wrong way. That way you can kind of see what things do when you do it the wrong way. So this is the right way. And here we go, sticking that on. It fits very nicely onto this aircraft. It didn't meet up quite well in the middle, so you might have to either put a little paint on there or just do a little finagling, whatever you want to do to make it look good. It doesn't matter to me, it's your model. So make your model how you want it to look. These are those stripes, the different colors that we're going to put on the tail. Goes right up to the edge there, and of course all the way down the side. Turned out very good. I was happy with this model and how the decals turned out. They laid down very nicely. Here's that little eagle thing. I don't remember if I called it a horse earlier. I don't know what it is. I think it's a bird. You know what? Honestly, since the name of the plane is the Fighting Redcocks, I'm willing to bet that that is a Fighting Redcock. So put on the Fighting Redcock. Here we go, putting on our NL. You see where that lines up right there. Final placement on that. Now I've got another stripe to do, as I said this one earlier, so make sure you trim away the pieces that you need to so it rests. Didn't show you that on here, but I assure you I did do that. So make sure it lines up with the other side. You just have to kind of visually do that. Brush it off. We've got our little tail letters right here that are going to go on the VA22. Dip those in the water, let them dry, as I've showed you for every single decal on this entire model so far. At least there were not a zillion no steps for this. That was quite a plus, unlike some other models, which will be coming up. There are a bunch of no steps on the F-15 Strike Eagle. We're going to show you that model in a couple of weeks, believe it or not. That is the next model series that we will be doing as soon as we finish this one. There's still a couple of videos left in this one. Don't forget, we have part 4, which will be coming up in 2 weeks. And after that, 2 weeks from then, we will have our review of this model, so you can see all that good stuff. The next video that we will have will feature actually the missiles and all the pylons getting painted and sticking those on the plane. Little bit of a process. There were a lot of missiles and a lot of bombs. I didn't put them all on because remember that plane that I keep mentioning for the past Lord knows how many videos? Go watch that series, my F-16 Falcon. That is the Warbird Thunderbird version that went into commission as a warplane to fly bombs and missiles that was armed. The Warbird. Click the link. Watch that series. It's great. Interesting things to learn from that. So anyway, here's that USA star. Goes on every Air Force plane, it seems like. Cutting out these little danger symbols. Danger, danger, danger. So put these right up here on the front. Of course, goes in the same spot as the last one. That's what that looks like. And hey, we've got another little 300 white thing that goes right on the front here of the intake. Slide that in. Make sure you get the right placement on this. Congratulations, you've now made it through almost all of this video. There is only about 2 minutes left, so I thank you for sticking around and watching as much as you have. So get our 300 put on there. We're going to put on the next little star right here. Get that in the water. Let it set. Put it on the underside of this plane. It goes on that right wing. You can see that right there. This is the side. The other side. Looks like our decals are done. Just going to brush a little bit of microsol setting solution on all of these. And here we go. We are now applying a sealer. Going to go flat on... I'm basically spraying everything flat up until the gloss white on the base. I even sprayed the tail, the ailerons there, and I'm just going to go back over those with some gloss color as well. So you're going to see all that. Only got a minute left in this video, so we thank you for watching this whole 21-minute and 38-second video, plus a couple of little frames after. You see me getting all this right here. We're probably going to do 2 coats of this. I'd like to do 2 coats for everything. Here we go, getting the sides, making sure we get everything, make it look pretty. So this is getting the underside of that gray, and you see I didn't really mask anything off. I wasn't too worried about it. I'm not making this model look perfect. I'm doing this model for me, not for you. So we are going to now spray the second coat, as I said, just going over it. Now this is the gloss coat that we are putting on to make this gloss stand out a little bit better for the gloss white. Go up and down all over it. You notice I didn't mask off for that because I wasn't worried about where the gray was flat and where it wasn't. So what I'd like to say now is thank you for watching the entire video. Come back in 2 weeks. We're going to do part 4, as I mentioned earlier. We're going to show you putting on all the bombs, painting those, the missiles, the fuel tanks, whatnot, and some stuff that wasn't there. Thank you for watching. For the latest video, don't forget to subscribe. It's going to be out in 2 weeks after this one. Give me some comments and likes. Thanks for watching. Once again, see ya.